morning, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the live show with Cynosure. With me in the studio today is a very important personality. He's a mentor, a transformational coach. He's a lot of things in one person. Let's welcome Sir Zion Obete. Good morning, Sir.
Good morning,
welcome
Cynthia.
to the studio.
Thank you
We
so
are
much.
honored to have you here.
Wow, I'm more honored to be here. Thank you for having
Sorry,
me.
we had to drag you from. Was it Ukraine you traveled to or Canada?
I think in my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, no problem.
I was in Canada in my mind before you brought me down here.
Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you
Okay,
so
today we'll
much.
be talking about youth, because these, to me, they're the 70% of the majority we have in our country, and there's no future without the youth. So today we're talking about the youth generally, talking about the future with the youth and empowerment, youth and the government, and everything that is centered around the youth. So now, with the whole situation in the country, what would you say about the whole situation connecting to the youth in the cause of maybe unemployment, politics, everything that has to center with the country and the youth? So what do you have to say about that?
All right, talking about the youth. Well, if you're looking at the demography, looking at that age range,
Yeah.
I was at Wazobia radio station, and Aboki said something that the new statistics now is that the age of the youth is even between, we're looking at between 15 and even 65.
Wow.
Amazingly. So I remember I went there with a friend. I said, "Hey, so you mean my dad and I now are dragging this youthful, this youthful age?" But that's just what I think MBS released as the youth population now. So it means it's a wider range now. But
yeah.
let's, maybe for the sake of what we're going to be discussing, let's look at between the ages of, let's say, 13 and 40, or let's say 15 and 40, which is still cool.
Yeah.
So I think the youth has a very important role to play
Definitely.
in society, just as you've pointed out. And there is no future, as you said, without the youth. I saw a post made by someone I follow on Facebook, and he took a picture with Olusegun Obasanjo. The guy, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
Even I believe he should be in his 40s. I believe he should be in his early 40s. And he took a picture with Olusegun Obasanjo, and then he tagged it, "The past and the future." And then, people came under his post to comment, and I saw one that really caught my attention. The person said, "We need the synergy of both the past and the future." So if you call Obasanjo the past, yeah. But then, what we're trying to say is that the youth need the elders, and the elders need the youth. So, one of the richest men that ever lived, one of the richest kings, his name is Solomon. He said something that the old men, they're known for their gray hair, which connotes wisdom. But see, the youth, we are known for our strength.
Yeah.
We need both. We need both wisdom and strength. If you have wisdom but no strength, you see, your wisdom cannot take you too far.
Yeah.
Because what good is it when, for instance, you're weak, lying on the bed, just knowing so much? Okay, so the problem with the youth today, and the problem with our society today, is not that we don't know. As a matter of fact, we know so much, but the problem is that we don't do as much as we know.
Yeah.
So we know so much, but we do so little, or even nothing at all. All right. So you see where the wisdom comes in, knowing. The strength comes with doing, because you need strength to do action. So you need both synergy of strength and wisdom to actually achieve so much. And more importantly, talking about an airplane has two wings. An airplane cannot fly with one wing.
Yeah, definitely.
So we need two wings, and I want to liken those two wings as I want to liken the airplane to be a nation. We need both the youth and the older ones. Okay, we cannot do without any of them. So that's how important the youth is. So if any of the age range, let's say a man has come to an age of maybe 70, 60, and he just looks down on us, what are you guys saying? Come on, you should shut up. Hey, you cannot go far without us.
Definitely.
we ourselves also will not shut down the old ones and say, hey, you should get out of here, we don't need you. No, we also need them, because they are coming from a place that we do not have an idea of, and we need the history of where they are coming from so that we can align it with our present, and then together we can now build a future. That's how important the youth is.
Okay, now considering the whole okay, let's come to unemployment in Nigeria. We find out that some persons say it's actually the duty of the government to provide jobs for youths and teenagers and whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I, for one, say it's not a job for the government, and a lot of people tend to counter me on that. I feel like as a youth, let me not use teenagers, or let me not use the older persons now. As a youth, because I am a youth, as a youth, I feel like I could be able to create job opportunities for others. I don't have to wait for the government. But we are actually in a society right now where a lot of youth depends on their parents or the government to provide for them, even when they have the opportunity to explore, to do things. Yes, we know a lot of them don't have probably the basic amenities or the capital to start off this kind of things. They just feel reluctant in doing anything. They feel reluctant in processing their ideas and trying to achieve something. Now, in a situation like that, what do you have to say with pertaining the youth unemployment and the government?
Okay, you started out so well. Exactly, the youth should not really depend on the government, right? Which is very important. People should start thinking about creating opportunities for others.
Yeah.
Just as one president of the United States, I think that should be John F. Kennedy, he says, do not think of what your country will do for you, think of what you will do for your country. All right, but then we cannot rule out the fact that the government has so much role to play in this. And why do I say so? Most youth today, they have great ideas. They have beautiful, they have a beautiful place to start from. But then the environment is not conducive. Most times the environment chokes up what they have. And when that happens, it makes people to want to now just give up on the attempts at a better life or at creating opportunities, to now rely on the government. Okay, government, you did not provide us the environment. Okay, feed us. Why do I even use this? Okay, let me use this example. For instance, a prisoner. Okay, I know that might sound so extreme, but you put a man in jail, in a prison. You shouldn't tell the man, okay, you are in jail, take care of yourself in jail. You've limited him. At that moment, he's at your mercy.
Yeah.
You have to provide his meals. You have to provide everything he needs, even the clothes he will wear. You have to provide everything, the toiletries, everything. Why? Because you have put him in an environment, yes, that does not allow him or does not give him the opportunity to. So no matter how much he has, because he's limited by that space, he can do almost nothing. So in that case, he now relies on either the jailer or the warden or what have you. That's the same thing. So if the government does not provide that enabling environment for these great youth with their great ideas, then they're almost left with, okay, feed me then, clothe me. Come on, you guys are restricting me. We're trying to start a business, you come down on our throat with taxes. We're trying to do something so little, you come down with heavy policies that are going to be impounding or impeding our success or our growth. What do you expect? So most times they want to just relax and say, okay, you know what, I've given up. But that is not an excuse still, because I believe that in every problem, there is a solution. Embedded in every problem is a solution. So if only we can just keep thinking around it. Because I believe that, trust me, there are principles that work. And those principles are not limited by an economical space. They are not limited by even geographical space. For instance, gravity. Yeah. Okay, gravity can pull you down as well as to pull a Chinese man down. Heat can burn your skin as well as to burn the skin of a Chinese man. So there's some fundamental principles that once you apply them, no matter how strict an economy is, you just find yourself flourishing. People have complained, for instance, in this regime that there is no money, but I tell you, people have also made so much money legitimately. let's not think, okay, because maybe they used another illegal. No, legitimately. So the question is, what are those ones doing differently that I am not doing? All you need to do is to keep asking questions. Okay, yeah, one door has closed, but don't forget that there are other 1,000 doors that can still be opened if only you can ask people that know the way. Please, Oga, show me the way. Let me also go through that door. It's like this door is closed. Let me go through the door. And there is no how all doors can be shut at once. It's not possible. So once you understand that, hey, if one door is shut down, other ones are open, you just keep moving, and that's how they open up to you. Trust me, people are making so much money in this regime. So while we say government should do their part, we too should not relax and depend totally on them. Let's also go out and do our part. And that's where knowledge comes in. Whenever we seek to know, always looking for opportunities to learn, trust me, the doors just keep opening. And you cannot make wealth, because I know all of these people boys down to, okay, I want to make money, I want to be financially free. Once you learn so much, and not just learning, you do. Trust me, just a matter of time, the doors just keep opening for you. Okay,
thank you very much, sir. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the issue of we have like the NYSC, mostly we have old people that actually go for service and all that. Now, do you think are you of the opinion that NYSC should be scrapped? Because considering the fact that, unquote, recently, I think how many years? I think about 2-3 years now. What they started doing in camps is they try to teach them entrepreneurship. Yeah. The idea is when you leave service, you don't have to relent for or rely on the government for jobs. You just have to start off something. And a lot of persons just feel like, okay, the NYSC thing is just a waste of time. All you do is you just get the alawi thing, and that's the only important thing it has to do. But forgetting another vital part, training them for the future. So are you in the opinion that the NYSC should be scrapped, or the government should, I don't know, put in more effort on that aspect?
All right, so I would say on one hand it should be scrapped, on the other hand it should be revamped or remodeled. Yeah. All right, so if it cannot be remodeled or revamped, then let it be scrapped. Because at the end of the hour, I've been privileged to speak to NYSC members. I've been privileged to train them on enterprise development, enterprise development trainings, or they call it EDP program. All right. So one time I sat down and I was watching, and then people came out with their different enterprises. Okay, I'm gonna teach you how to do shoemaking. I'm gonna teach you how to do sweater knitting. I'm like, really? I'm like, these guys just came out of the university and then you are training them to do this. When we have in other Western climes or Sena climes that a 4-year-old is already doing robotics and doing writing of coding and all that. And I'm like, yeah, why all of that? Because I tell people, okay, the fact that we are in a digital age does not mean people are not going to wear shirts, or not going to wear ties, or not going to wear sweaters. But hey, at that level, I saw that it was demeaning to them. It was like you undermining them. Like, you mean we came out of school and then you are taking us through all of this? So for looking at that, I would say it should be scrapped, because I felt there was no much value being given at that level. Because come on, you can learn shoemaking anyway. You can just go to one roadside cobbler and just humble yourself to become an apprentice, and then you learn shoemaking. It's as simple as that. Do I have to go to an NYSC camp before I learn shoemaking? But then if you say, okay, well, people go there for the networking, then I can agree, okay, networking, which in a way I can still network anyway. Like people that will still go there for 1 year and they won't make one friend, they won't make one good network. Do you understand? So I know a lot of people who I want to just say, come on, people are making money from this also, so why do you want to take away their means of livelihood? And that's why sometimes most of these things are maintained, they are just sustained, but they're just floating, but they don't really have a bearing. They don't really have a bearing. That's because other people are trying to make money out of it. But if you want to look at it critically, hey, NYSC has so much to offer so that it shouldn't be scrapped. That is the only way I would say, okay, let's not be scrapped. But apart from, aside that, or if they don't put that into consideration, then it's as good as you scrap it.
What do you think it has to offer? What's the positive part of the NYSC thing?
As it stands right now?
Yes.
I think the only thing is just the networking. So far.
But like, you can network from anywhere. I can actually go for a seminar. These days, you go for seminars and there's a break, a 5-10 minutes break for you to network. And most times you meet more important. I'm not saying those in the NYC
Sure.
are not important.
Sure.
No, don't get me wrong. But in those seminars, you could meet most important persons there that you network with. In the NYC, most times you see okay, everyone is just a school graduate.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't even know their bearing. A lot of them don't know left from right. They are still trying to adapt to what the true whole environment is going to give to them. But in seminars where you meet, let's say entrepreneurship seminars or leadership seminars and all that, you meet people that are experienced, you meet people that are advanced, you meet people that are mature, you meet people that are established already. So if you say networking in the NYSC, then I don't think it's a good reason.
Now, that's what I'm saying. So, can you see now? I just did not want to say, okay, completely scrap it out. So, even if you want to keep it there, let it still be for the networking, because I see some people you would never meet at those seminars that you might just meet at the NYSC camp, and then beautiful things can still happen there. All right? A lot of people have found business partners at the NYSC camp. A lot of people have met their marriage partners there. So, somehow, anything that brings people together from different places, it's not a bad idea. All right, so for some people, seminars work for them. For some, they'll tell you, man, NYC was my biggest break. Do you understand? So for that reason, you can still say, okay, let's leave it. Let's just maintain that networking status quo there. All right, but then recently I saw what, because I'm also privileged to be a support facilitator with Jobberman, where we go to rural areas and urban areas to train these people on soft skills. Now, we began to introduce those skills even in NYSC orientation camps. And the reason is because most of these people they were not taught soft skills while in school. So those leadership skills, the communication skills, emotional intelligence, and all of that, team building, they were not taught in schools. Because a lot of things our schools don't teach us, we know that for sure, right? So they felt, okay, good idea, let's partner, let's write applications to international organizations, and now they are being sponsored by MasterCard Foundation and other beautiful organizations, all right, to bring these soft skills now to these young persons. So taking these soft skills now to NYC camp, can you see it's a good idea now that they couldn't get it from your schools, but now they are coming to a place and these soft skills are introduced to them. So some of them now will use those soft skills to better their lives in the future. So can you see why, in a way, you want to say scrap it? I'm saying, okay, don't scrap it. Scrap it, don't scrap it. Scrap it because other things that are being done there are just waste of time. I can let them in that place. But then soft skills, networking, even soft skills, I can actually learn them outside there. But then you get, so let's just maintain it just for the sake of the relationship.
But you know, some persons, sometimes I feel like some of our youths are actually the problem. It's not the government. I don't know, but that's the idea why we're talking about this whole thing. And now you find out some youths are actually going into service. We are still emphasizing on the NYC.
Okay.
Some of them are actually going there. They don't know why they are going there. Some of them are going for the Alawi.
Yeah, sure.
Because it has been increased to 33,000. So okay, I just I know they do anything. That's 3,000 to enter my account. You know, a lot of things. And some of them, they are going there because of let it be known that I have served.
That's true.
So now these persons go there without having a goal or the reason why they want to go there. We have some persons, like you said, that go there to network, that go there to find business partners and all. Then others go, they don't have a goal, they don't have a vision why they are going there. Now, in a situation like that, what would you advise a kind of person?
Okay, so very important we talked about goal, because whatever you do without a goal, or let me use the word purpose, you're just abusing it. Miles Monroe said without purpose, abuse is inevitable, right? So if you go to an NYC camp without a purpose, without a definite purpose, you have abused it. The money also, you're going to abuse the money in the end. Now for some people, they'll tell you that, it's difficult for them to get maybe loans from banks, and they don't want to go begging, they don't want to go borrowing from their parents. So for such people, the 33,000 naira can do a whole lot for them. So for some who say, okay, I'm gonna just feed on maybe 30%. So I'm gonna save maybe 70%. Imagine doing that for 12 months. Man, that would be.
It's not even up to 12 months.
Yeah, can you see?
I think it's about 9 months or 10 months.
Good. Okay, let's even say, okay, someone gets 33,000 and he spends 15,000. He saves 15,000 naira. Let's say it saves 50% times, let's say 10 months. That's 150. Now for such a person with a definite goal and purpose. He can use that 150,000 to start a business and tomorrow becomes a millionaire. So such a person has a definite goal. But others will say, well, with 30,000 naira now, wolf money, now more just to chop anyhow. So such people don't have a goal while they go there. Or they have a goal, but not in the right direction. The goal is to eat money, right? So it's still a goal. Do you understand? But it's a misguided or misdirected goal. If all you go there just to get money and spend frivolously, then I think your goal. My dad, for instance, never went to the 4 walls of a secondary school. But when he comes and talks to you, when he speaks, or when he thinks of solutions to problems, you think he acquired a PhD in one of the universities. Why? Because he has gotten the foundation. My dad has one of the best handwritings. He has the best handwriting in our whole family, in our entire Obete's family, right? He speaks so well and he reads so well. And he has not gone beyond the primary school walls. So it means the primary school was able to help him get that foundation for him to further chart the course of his own life. But we see a lot of people, even with the school, they just go and they get certificated, get decorated with those certificates, but their minds are not even decorated. Because after their school, they feel, we are done learning. They forget that the moment you stop learning, that's when you start dying. So at Z Learning Annex, what we do is that we tell the world and we tell these young people that we want to give you education behind or beyond the 4 walls of a school. So we introduce what we call general life skills. I was speaking to some of my students one time, I call them global giants, and I asked them a question. I said, okay, let me even ask you the same question. You know, we talk about leadership, we talk about purpose, right? Is there any course in your school that is called Purpose 101? But you know that we need this thing. We need to be taught purpose, how you can discover purpose for life and all of that. But your school does not. A lot of things that we get outside the 4 walls of the school are the things that even make us more valuable today. You may disagree with me, but that's my own reality. That's my reality. Cynthia, the reason why you are calling me here today is, first of all, by the grace of God. But number 2 is because you see that I'm doing something that is impacting lives. And can I tell you the truth? Those things I was not taught while I was in school. I tell you the truth. The things I was taught outside school, I attended seminars, I read books, I listened to mentors, I watched videos on YouTube. All of these things are so available. They're everywhere today, but we think until we have to go and pay a registration fee or you get admission letter, you think you are not going to do well in life. That's not true. That's not true. I read electrical engineering, but today I have nothing I'm doing with it. Does that mean I should rule out school completely? The answer is no. But then if the school can give you those basics, you are good to go. The question is even these things that we need in life, like the financial literacy, how you should invest your money and all of that. You don't learn most of these things in school, unfortunately, especially in our own school. So a person like Mark Zuckerberg will tell you he's dropping out of school. That is even a school system that is even much better than our own. And then he still drops out, but because he goes about looking for other ways to get educated, he still does well. How much more you drop out of this one and you think you will not do well when you apply the same principles that these guys have applied? The things that are even freely given to us, you know that the ones that are more valuable, you have kidneys, you have lungs. Did you buy any of them? The answer is no. But are they important? The answer is yes. You breathe. Air is free. Is it valuable? Very valuable. So most times the things that we get for free are the things that are very valuable. But unfortunately, are the things we say they're not important. So we want to pay for something. Until we pay for something through our nose, we think no, it doesn't have value. But that's not true. Z Learning Annex, for instance, we offer free trainings. People have come here and their lives have experienced a drastic turn. It's free, but it's valuable. Will you say because they didn't pay, that means they're not going to become something in life? Man, I kid you not, you are joking. They come, they get so much value there for free. But you see, if you get all of these things, but you do not apply them, then they become useless as well to you. So a lot of people also come out of the same school, but they don't apply the few things they have been taught. So they still come out disenfranchised with life. They come out looking so disgruntled, they come out looking so depressed, they come out looking so frustrated because they have not applied even a little they learned in school.
Okay, now in our country, because I'm actually using our country.
Yeah, sure.
They'll tell you, okay, you're looking for a job, you can't get a job because you don't have a certificate. And now, I for one feel like you don't really need to look at those certificates. But you see a lot of youth are depressed and they are discouraged because they feel like, okay, I have to go to school to get the certificate. So whenever I'm looking for a job, I have to tender my certificate. But now a lot of persons or a lot of should I say employers are forgetting the most important part of it, which is to be educated. Now I don't have to go to school to be educated, like you said. I can actually, like, I'm one person who read a lot. I read. I think I started reading at age 3.
Wow.
I could read very well at age 3, and to some extent, my dad got scared because I was very young, and he said, "How is this child reading this kind of books at this age?" Now I learned to research from a very young age. I'm an inquisitive person. Now, when you see me earlier in my primary school days, you think I'm in secondary school because of the exposure. Now, imagine I did further and I want to go and look for a job as a teacher, but I don't have the certificate because I didn't go to school. But now I have the value of what the school needs as a teacher, not what they want, what they need. Now I can offer to be a teacher to pupils or students of that school, and I can impart a lot of knowledge to them. But because I don't have the certificate, I won't be given a job. And now you see a lot of youth go to school just for the certificate. They just feel like, okay, let's just look for something else to do. Now, what you have to say about that particular norm in our society? One has to go to school to get a certificate. Doesn't need education, doesn't need the value. He doesn't have the value to give out. It's just the certificate that he has.
So unfortunately, the certificate has been abused today, right? Because now people can just go buy it now. You can just go to a cafe even and print a certificate. It's a big deal. The answer is no, right? So the question, let me just strike a balance. If you have the opportunity to go to school, go to school. Get the certificate, but let it not stop there. Let it not stop there, right? So you have the opportunity to go get the certificate, because there are two things. Competence, you need that competence. Competence should be number one. But then some people want to now certificate or certify their competence. It's not a bad idea either, right? So it's like you using two-edged sword. You're going to cut better than the person that is only using one-edged sword, right? So if you go with only your competence, but you don't have the certificate in this society that we live, it's unfortunate, but that's our reality. So let's face the reality. If you go with one-edged sword, that's only your competence. Somehow, there's some places you walk in and they'll say, hey, you don't have the certificate, so go away. We don't care what you know, right? And then if you get only the certificate, but you don't have the competence, you're still walking on one leg, because then you get into the door, but you cannot really stay in the room. Why? Because somehow they will find out that you are not competent for that job. You only bribed or you got your way in there by forgery or something like that, and then they kick you out still. So what's the balance? Try and get the two if you can. But even if you cannot get, if you have to get one, if they say, hey, Oga, choose one, go for the competence. Forget about the certificate. You know why? A time is coming, people will beg you to come and even get the certificate. A typical example in Nigeria, Cosmos Maduka. Now, he couldn't afford the school. He only finished elementary. Till today, he keeps saying it on national television that, hey, forget this profile people are reading. I didn't go beyond elementary school. That's primary. But today, he's the CEO of Coscharis Motors. He's been featured on so many international televisions and magazines and all what have you. Now, schools now are calling to collect honorary doctorate degrees. Do you understand? I have gone to so many places to speak today by privilege. Not once did they ask me for a certificate in public speaking. Why? Because they saw my competence. Somehow they watched me on maybe YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Oh, this guy can come and speak in our program. Then they invited me, another person saw me, invited me, another person saw me. So nobody is asking me for certificate. All they are saying is competence. So if you have to go with, if you can afford the two, go for the two. But if you must go with just one, go for competence. Don't be smart to go for competence.
Okay, sir. Before we go, let's talk about learning and it. Actually, that was I said we'll talk about that later. And she kept it for the last part. Now, you're the founder of Learning Annex, and the motto is basically good child.
That's right.
Now, basically, from the whole time I've been to Learning, it's about the youth, grooming them for the future, grooming them to be better persons in the future, grooming them to be competent, like you said. Yeah. So what would you advise youth out there for their 2022 goal?
All right, interesting question. Now, where you are today is as a result of what you did yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing now will still affect your 2022. It's just a calendar. It's not anything different. Okay, 2022 does not come with one shaking or one like maybe this fan will come down or this AC will turn. No, it's the same thing that you will see.
No, but consider the fact that you're going into another calendar, like you said.
Yes.
You don't have to keep repeating the old thing.
Yes.
You just have to do something new.
That's what I'm saying. So let's not go with it's just 2022. The question is, what do you seek or hope to achieve in that 2022? All right. So a lot of people did not start. They're not doing anything to get into this year, and now they came into this year and they are complaining. They only shouted Happy New Year, but that was all. Do you want to go into another Happy New Year and then you achieve nothing? So you've got to start doing something. And one of the things I want to tell people is that, hey, start by writing your goals down. What goals do you want to achieve in 2022? And these things are powerful. I did something remarkable. Okay, I can say this here. I was listening to one of my mentors, and then he gave us a task, he gave us an instruction that we should write down our goals for 30 consecutive days. I don't mean I want to become a lawyer, I want to become a doctor. Then tomorrow you say, okay, I've written it already, it's the same thing. No, even if these are the only two things you've written, write them again. And then not just write, keep saying them. Not just say them, place pictures by them. I did those things there. And one of the striking results I got was that of our public speaking masterclass. In the city of Kano, I don't think, maybe you tell me if you have a recall of that, I don't think there's ever a masterclass, even let's say on public speaking, where people would pay. And then in Kano, we are getting up to that number of persons. Now, I wrote down on my goal that I would like to record 150 participants at my public speaking masterclass. At Zillen Annex, we barely, sometimes since people go to work, people relocate and all of that, we barely get like, let's say 150, even when it's free. But then this is something for free, and for some people are going to pay, and then I wrote 150. It didn't make sense to me, I tell you the truth. But I just kept writing. Every day I would write. I would say it. I would write. I would place pictures. Guess what? During the public speaking masterclass, we didn't just record 150, we recorded 170 participants.
Wow.
They paid for the training. That's the power of writing goals. So, with that kind of experience, what do you think will happen in 2022? Man, I want to write more and keep writing and keep saying and keep placing pictures. So if you can just do that for a start, don't just write, take steps. A lot of us don't like to take those steps. Now, writing 150 was so easy to do, not just to write. But the step was start publicity. How is that possible? Just tell people. Start telling people. Put publicity out there. Go get a venue. And that was how we started, and somehow it got to the ears of one school, and then they partnered with us and we were able to get that number. So don't just write goals, take a step. Even if it's one little step, most times it's the first step that is the hardest to take. But just muscle all the strength within you and take that step. Just like an aeroplane that wants to take off. That first instance is always shaky. So it may look rough at the beginning, but take it all the same. Dare those things that you were scared of daring in 2021 and tell yourself, I'm going to dare them in 2022. Because no car moves on neutral. You have to put a gear. And when you put a gear, you hear a noise, you hear a sound. So that's the same thing you want to do in 2022. You want to start putting your life on the gear. Don't just stay on neutral and just fold your hands and say, okay, let me just watch Quasera Sarah. No. Tell yourself, I'm going to take that one step. I'm going to read more books. I'm going to make good network. I'm going to get friends. I'm going to be tutored by someone. I'm going to be mentored by someone. I am going to do something. And once you start doing that, I tell you, 2022 is going to be very beautiful. I tell you the truth. Can I tell you the truth? 2021, people have talked about regime, Buhari, Jonathan. I have not enjoyed a very beautiful year like 2021. Why? Because I set goals and I took some daring steps. We moved into a new venue that was much more expensive than what we were paying the previous one. And people were like, no, it's too expensive. I said, we're going to do it. I kept writing it down. I kept saying it. I took steps to go there. And that was how we took care of it. That place was taken care of. It's so powerful how much you achieve when you write goals and you speak it out and then you take steps.
Wow. I hope you had an amazing time because I sure did. So don't go anywhere. Don't worry. We'll still have to invite our guests next time. We hope to have you again next time, sir. I really have a nice time. I hope you learned a lot from Mr. Zion. For me, I sure did. And please, like he said, try to set your goals for 2022. Yeah, like you said, 2022 is just a new calendar. Yes, but you don't have to be stagnant. You don't want to be stagnant. You just have to move. Just take a baby step, and you see everything working out. You have to write it. You have to say it. You have to keep saying it. And there's this gospel artist in Kano that sang. Keep saying it. You understand? Just keep saying it. Just write it down every morning. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you can do this. Yeah, a lot of people say it doesn't work for them, but I, for one, say it worked for me. Every morning I try to tell myself a lot of positive things about myself, and at the end of the day, I come back home and I tell myself, yes, positivity actually happened today. So please, as a youth out there, I want you to, after watching this video, I need you to take that step. Like he said, it's going to be rough. I've experienced it. It's going to be rough. Before I got to where I am today, it took a lot of hard work. I didn't just stand up and achieve what I have today. It took a lot of work. You're going to find the whole shaky ground. You're going to find it very difficult to achieve a lot of things, both the finances and everything, the support. But don't relent. Don't stop there. If you say it, you're going to achieve it. So before we go, sir, you help us design our pillow of fame.
Amazing.
We are actually selling it for a favorite fan that is going to win the pillow of fame.
Okay, so is that going to be?
We don't know. We'll just keep waiting.
Okay,
we'll just keep waiting.
Let me put my name. Then my signature will not show I'm the one. When I put my name now, then I sign. I'm sure it's going to show that, okay, this is Zion's signature.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that is it. Very beautiful. Okay, so we have a gift for you.
Ooh.
It's our favorite CLS bed pillow. But we don't give it to guests like that. You just have to answer 3 of our questions in 5 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, in 5 seconds.
Okay.
In 5 seconds. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the most favorite book you've read?
Think Big. That was what brought about Z-Learning Annex.
Think Big.
Yeah, by Donald Trump and Bill Zanker. There are 2. There's one of Ben Carson, there's one of Donald Trump and Bill Zanker. Yeah.
Alright. Who's your favorite author?
John Maxwell.
What's your favorite Miles Morales book?
Miles Morales book.
Yeah.
The Power and Purpose of a Man.
Okay. We have to let it be. You answered our question. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
The live show inside the show. Why don't you keep the pillow?
Okay, of course. My bedroom. Okay, want me to put my sitting room?
Yeah,
so when I wake up, I'll just see. That's the first thing I'll see. But even if my sitting room, no problem.
Go to people's house and steal back the pillow.
Okay, then to be my bedroom.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have this. Thank you.
We are shy. Okay, thank you very much for staying with us on the live show with Cynosure. Until we come your way again next week, keep watching and don't go anywhere far. Thank you.
Audio Jungle.